Hello, good everyone. Welcome to another stream. Today I'm going to be looking at David Finch's How to Draw the Ear, and I'm just going to like do a study. Yeah, I'm starting like trying out this series where I just um, I just like study. Well, like in order for me to like improve my art, I look at top artists and like top tutorials and books and things like that, and I draw inspiration from them, and like I just copy what they have there, look at the studies that they have there, and I try to improve my art. So today I'm going to be looking at another David Finch video. To be honest, I'm just going to like watch all his videos. I'm going to do streams where I watch all his videos. Barring YouTube doesn't like ban me or something like that. I'm going to do streams where I watch all his videos and like I try to improve my art like in the videos. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, and like, we'll see what's up. We'll see what's up. Yes. So, anyways, I'm just going to start that now.
And without having to overthink. Any form, especially on the face, that looks wrong is going to immediately draw the eye. So it's important to have your ears working well and be something that complements your face rather than takes away from it. But in my opinion, I think they're a fairly easy thing to learn how to draw.
I think drawing ears is sort of like not the sexiest thing ever. Like if you're drawing ears, it's kind of like seriously. Like if you're studying, like trying to draw ears, it's not like the most like popular thing to do, but it's actually quite important. And I've not done it, and like I like David Finch's videos, so I'm just going to watch it and like do the tutorials. Like watch the tutorials and just like try and see. Like, you could always learn something new. Like I've drawn ears hundreds, if not thousands of times. So, but still, there's still always something new to learn.
And it should be something that you can do just as a very, very quick shorthand without really having to put a lot of thought into it. You'll draw a lot of ears over the course of your career or your drawing hobby.
True, that's what I was just saying.
And it's something that you want to just be a very, very simple, easy thing for you to put down on the page. So with that said, let's get started. All right, to start drawing the ear, first we need to figure out exactly where it goes on the head. It's very, very simple.
All right, so he has already drawn a figure. So I'm going to try and draw this figure real quick and see. I actually should have done this earlier. I should have done this earlier, to be fair. So we have the head. So I'm just going to draw the head. And hello, Yellow. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. I hope you're having a good day. And look at how quickly he put down the planes of the face. Yeah, hello, Yellow. How you doing? Hope you're having a good day. I am doing like watching a tutorial of David Finch's video, and I'm trying to like improve my art. So that is essentially what I am doing. And today I'm learning how to draw the ear. Like not that I don't know how to draw the ear, but I believe there's something new to learn. And I like David Finch's video, so um, you know, you can always like improve on what you already have. I really like the way he drew the eyes. Very important. Nigerian man. Christ. Was that good? I don't think that was good enough. I'll leave it like this. We're focusing on the ear today, so I'll just leave that like that. Let me just draw this other side. I like how he demarcated the planes of the face. It makes it easier for someone like who doesn't like understand it. Like they could just sort of like see the shapes that actually make up a face, and just try and copy that. Yeah, new position. I actually started this yesterday. I started this yesterday. Yo, man. Jesus, man. It's so hot in this room. What the hell? All right. I think we've done what we need to do. Bro's improving himself. My eyes welled up with tears. Yes, I am improving myself. I am improving myself. I have to, right? I don't want to stay stagnant. I have to improve myself. Yeah, anyways, I have the figures. So, like, let's see what he talks about
You
next.
start with a line from your nose and a line from your eyebrow. These are even divisions. This one to this one to this one to this one to the chin. They're all evenly sized. So you're going to take this middle division here. This will be the top of your ear, and that'll be the bottom of the ear. And so I'm going to go ahead and just quickly draw an ear in here. We're going to talk about some of the form that goes into it. But for now, let's get it established. There you go. That you have an ear, and it's proportional to the head. From the side of the head, the ear doesn't actually line up.
Shit, I didn't actually know that he was drawing the two like heads like in like the same direction. And luckily for me, I think I was able to sort of get it, not perfectly, but like almost get it. Whew. Thank goodness I'm good at art, man. If not, I'd have to probably like redraw this stuff. Eating nuggets with cheddar sauce right now. Ooh, you're enjoying life, aren't you? You're really enjoying life.
Exactly on this line, it actually angles back just a little bit. So be aware of that. I've got a line for my brow here, a line for my nose. It doesn't actually line up,
Don't
but
move
for
too
now,
fast, man. Not too fast. Let's see what you did there.
let's get it established.
Let's see what you did there. All right, that looks good. Let me see if I can copy that. Aye. Yeah, I made the ear too big, man. This guy's going to have a really big ear. All right.
There you go. That you have an ear, and it's proportional to the head. From the side of the head, the ear doesn't actually line up exactly on this line. It actually angles back just a little bit. So be aware of that. I've got a line for my brow here, a line for my nose, and I'm going to go ahead and put the top of my ear here, the bottom of my ear here. I've got a little lobe piece that goes in here. This piece connects up in here. It's like a large ring. It curves and then curves back down into a lobe. That's going to connect here. Then you have the interior part of your ear right here. It's just like an interior structure, just like this. And on a simple level, there you go. That is an ear on the side of the head.
All right. Yo, wait for me, man. Don't rush. Yeah, I think I made the head not as long as it should be, like on the side. his drawing looks skinnier. Yes, it does. Yes, it absolutely does. And I should have made the head longer, like this side. You see the gap between what does this so call it? The gap between like the side of the ear and like this area. It should be it should be longer. That should be longer.
I find the ears tend to be something that artists really skip. A lot of artists skip studying as much as they should uh, because they're really not that much fun to draw. But having figures with ears that look odd really, really does stand out to somebody looking at the artwork. It's like having hands that look wrong. They're such a recognizable part of the human face and something that we see every day. They need to be drawn in a way that looks recognizable. And so I'm going to go ahead and draw this side, a profile of the ear again. And I want to emphasize that as I draw my ears, I'm really not worried about individual parts and their names and how everything works. None of that really matters.
Vegetable enjoyer versus KFC enjoyer. You're not serious. Okay, okay. I see. I see. You're roasting my work, yeah?
What I want is a shorthand for an ear that I can draw very, very quickly and very easily. I need something that is reliable and repeatable. So this top curve that goes around the ear comes in here, and then you have a piece right here, and then you have your lobe here, and then you have your interior structure, and that just goes inside here. Just like this, and like this. Very, very simple. Your outer ring connects like this, and this top part splits at the top, basically like this. It's actually a very simple structure. I'm just going to do it again really fast. So you have the outer.
Yo, don't do it again, man. The hell? Let me catch up. Alright. Alright, alright, alright. I mean, not perfect, but yo, you're cooking, bro. Not gonna lie, but it's still funny. Thank you. I appreciate the words of encouragement. Yeah.
Connects like this, and this top part splits at the top, basically like this. It's actually a very simple structure. I'm just going to do it again really fast. So you have the outer shape of your ear, just like this. Like this. You have your lobe here. You have your little tabby thing that goes here and connects to your cheek. And then you have your interior structure that's going to connect in here. And there you go. It really doesn't need to be anything super fancy. I should point out that this isn't just a soft curve, or it can be, I suppose, but it's much more effective if you go just a little bit harder and give it a little bit of a bump out here. I shaped it a little bit differently here. It really doesn't matter. Everybody's ear is different, but you want something that has a little bit of an organic feel to it. You'll notice that the way that I'm drawing my ears, I'm really not worrying about volumes and shapes and complex things with this because it's an ear. It doesn't change shapes the way that your hand does it whenever you move it. It's much more simple. So you just really need to learn the...
Yeah, I think I'm doing well so far. How many minutes has the video been? Can't see it, man. 4 minutes, and I'm doing well so far. Encouragement, mocking him so bad. Whatever negative I get, I'll turn it into a positive.
Basic shapes. And now to draw this from the front the way that we did here, I've got the top of my ear here, and I'm going to put the bottom basically here. So just about halfway through, I've got this shape right here. And then if I have the side of my head here, this part comes out at an angle like this. And I've got my lobe connecting here. And this part here, you can see it round from the front, just about like this, and connecting down into the lobe. And then you have your interior part right here. And that's basically it. It's not a difficult thing to do. I do want to show you something though, and this is really important to the way that I draw ears. I really like overlapping. I didn't do it when I drew this just now, but I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to overlap the line on top of this piece. And you can see that gives it a
Oh,
lot of depth that isn't there otherwise. I can kind of do the same thing here. And you can create a lot of depth just with that kind of simple overlapping. But really the most important overlap is here. And so let's just do this again. So I've got the top of my ear like this. I've got my interior lobe. This is going to actually project out kind of past my ring, my bottom lobe right here. And that right there. And there's an ear. It's very, very simple. I highly recommend that you just get used to drawing this shape. And you can see that as I've drawn it, it's not exactly the same. It really does change for me every time. And it really doesn't matter. This time I can see some of that exterior here. This time it's kind of a little bit back. Ears.
bro said 6 times here, 6 times. He said here 6 times. Oh, you're counting the here.
People tend to be very different. And so I don't
The
worry about
things you take notice of, man. The things you take notice of
the
is
fact that
crazy.
I've changed it just a little bit from one picture to the other. You can see that they basically work the same way. It's all very, very simple shapes.
Never thought I'd enjoy
This is
drawing
like the
ears.
ultimate easy ear. So we have this outward arc here, connecting to the lobe here. And then the whole thing kind of connects to the side of your head like that. It does not get too much easier than that. And I'm really not going to explain it beyond that because that's really all there is to it. And I think any extra explanation on top of that is just really a waste of time. So there's the ear for the side, the front, and the back. Very, very simple. I want these to be shapes that I can draw really, really quickly. And just to show you, I'm going to go ahead and draw an ear from the front about as fast as I would sketch one in if I'm drawing an actual head. So let's start with the head. Might as well do this right. I'm going to be very loose and sketchy with this because we're sketching a head in, and this is the way that I always like to draw. I don't just go in and start drawing tight things. I like to be pretty loose with it at first, and then I can lighten it down and get exactly what I want much easier. So here's an eye, here's another eye. Be nice and quick. This is just a rough in. My nose. I'm being a little heavier than I would be with my hand if I was just doing a rough in. So I want to make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing here. I've got a cheek here, another cheek here. Just putting our head together nice and quick. Top of my head basically here. So there you go. There's a very, very simple head, just as a rough in. And so I'm just going to draw both ears. So I know my ear is basically here. Got the centerpiece, the bottom. This connects in here. And then there we go. And I'm gonna draw the other ear on the other side.
Yo, bro, calm
It's gonna
down,
be
man.
just about
Let
here.
me catch up.
And there's another ear. Really, really fast. I don't want to have to be overthinking these things every time I draw them. And I think part of the reason why people have ears that are not as good as they could be is because it's not really broken down into just a really, really simple, almost like handwriting shorthand. And that's really what you need for an ear. We're going to cover some lighting in a bit. Before we do that, we're going to start covering some different angles that can give.
Yeah, let me get this ear real quick, man. Alright, so guideline, second guideline over here, and then our ear, like this. Let's get the overall shape, and then this, and then this one over here, like this. Right. All right, I think we're good. Does that look good? Let me flip it. You know what? That actually looks good. I'm happy. I flipped it and it actually looked good. Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's nice. Nice. Yeah, this guy is a vegetable enjoyer, yeah? He's on a proper, what the hell do they call that stuff? Carnivore diet. Yeah, carnivore diet.
Feel a little bit more trouble. Maybe. So I'm going to draw an ear from a 3/4. I'm not going to draw the features. I'll just draw a head. Here's my center line, brow line, my nose line, my chin line. And so this is a 3/4 view of a head. Really, really, really simple construction for this. Depending on how much information you'd like to have before you start drawing your new features, you might want more, but that's what we're using for this. And so I've got a 3/4. And really all this means
Look how fast
is
he
that
did
as I
that.
draw the ear, which is going to be in here, slightly back, I'm going to start with my this piece right here. Draw my top curve around. Basically what I'm doing, I can see more than I would see from the front and less than I would see from the exact side. That's going to connect in here. I like that overlap. That puts this one in front. And there we go. Super fast. And I'm going to point out, actually, as I do this, I'm going to actually tighten this face up a little bit because I have something I really want to show you. And then I'll show you exactly a use case for why this is super fast. And
let me get this. All right. What the hell? All right. Yeah, I'm on track.
I'm going to point out, actually, as I do this, I'm going to actually tighten this face up a little bit because I have something I really...
Hello, Kiki. How are you doing? Oh, you like the drawing. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm learning from a master, top guy.
I want to show you, and then I'll show you exactly a use case for why this is...
Hope you're having a wonderful day, Kiki. Hope things are going good.
Nice to get the hang of. So here's an eye. Yeah, it's a little high. There's an eye. So there's my brow.
Wait,
my
chill,
nose.
man.
Super fast.
I like when he does.
And you might be
this
thinking,
stuff.
am I sure that my ear is exactly where it needs to be? Is it too close to the eyes? Is it too far away? That's a problem I see very, very often with people's artwork when it comes to 3/4 angles or more odd angles. The ear starts to drift away into some odd places. And so the easiest way to know that your ear is in the right spot, if you have hair, your hair would kind of start here, angles up here, and this is for a guy, but I mean, really, it's the same basic thing for a girl. Just have long hair around it. And so there's my hairline. And you can see just about how much space I have here. And so from here, I want to do basically the same thing. So here's my hairline. And I've got just about that kind of a space right there.
Sorry. I was missing what you were
I
saying.
mean, really, it's the same basic thing for a girl. Just have long hair around it. And so there's my hairline. And you can see just about how much space I have here. And so from here, I want to do basically the same thing. So here's my hairline. And I've got just about that kind of a space right there. On top of my hairline here. And I know my ear is in the right spot because I don't have a ridiculously extended part right here. I guess bit of hair here. And I don't have to shorten it. And I've actually had that happen where I draw the ear in and then I just don't really have enough space for the hair and I don't piece together that I've drawn my ear in the wrong spot until I do that. And so I've kind of made it a habit of just using that as just a quick mental guide to make sure that I've got my ear in the right spot. And here's a use case scenario for that. So let's draw a panel. Here it is. This is a panel, and there are a lot of panels around it. And I've already drawn all those panels, and I've got a face basically like this. Pretty standard, kind of 3/4 face. So my forehead line, my brow line, my nose line, and my chin. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw an eye here. I'm too high with my eyes. I keep doing that. I learned for years to draw my eye along that line, and I switched it because it's more useful. It's something I got from Loomis, and I forget all the time that I have to adjust my entire face to match. So I've got my nose here, got my mouth We're going very, very simple with this. And see how I'm having to adjust all my proportions based on what I did with the eye. It's just how it goes. So what I don't want to have to do is now draw the entire back of the head and really map everything out and figure out exactly where that stupid ear goes. And it makes it a little confusing. Like, does it go here? Does it go, But the easiest way for me to do that is I know I want about that much space for my hair. So that would be the back of it. So all the ear that I would see would just be a little bit right there. And it's really easy for me to place and not be wrong. And I'm not having to project out this whole head into other panels and draw through. Hopefully that example explains it. It actually comes up a lot. And being able to just place your ear without having to draw the rest of the head, if you're in a panel like this and you don't want to have to do that, it's a very, very quick shorthand just to be able to get it placed well. So now that we've drawn some ears from the front and the side and a 3/4, we're going to move on to some more odd angles. So I'm going to draw a head basically 3/4 from behind. So it would be about the center line along the side. There would be my brow line. My nose line would be just about here. My chin here, my forehead here.
Wait, let me catch up to that. Actually, people actually underestimate the length of the human head whenever they are looking at it from like a side view. And I did make that mistake when I was drawing this head over here. When you're looking at the head from a side view, when you're looking at it from a 3/4 view, or like when you're looking at it from like a back view that is sort of like a 3/4 view, the head is actually very long, and that is because of the skull.
My nose be here. We're going very, very simple with this head because we're just establishing where I want my ear to be. And I feel like this is just a little far forward. Let's move that back a little bit. And I can actually really measure that the same way I did before. Let me put that in there. There's my hairline. And that really makes sure that I've got the space for my ear that I really need to have in order for that face to work. All right, so I know my ear kind of tilts back just a little bit from here. I'm going to start the top of my ear here. The bottom of my ear is going to basically be here. Let me erase this down so I have something that's a little more neat. And from here, we're going to see more of the back of the ear. So this large rounded outside portion, you're going to see very little at the top of it. You'll see more of the back. And I have a real tendency to do this right here, which I want to avoid because there's another connection in there. So let me go ahead and draw the bottom of the lobe here, this little bit that connects here, and now I'm going to draw the interior of my ear. And that's what I meant. There's a connection that goes in here, and I want to make sure to get that across. And at the top here, what I want to do is take this part and overlap it over this part because this part is more forward now. And I'm going to draw just a little bit of the connection in here, just like that. And there we go. There's an ear basically from a rear 3/4.
Yeah.
Right. So for the next
I think
ear,
mine
we're
is
going to be
terrible.
looking almost directly.
Yo, man, I think mine looks terrible. What the hell?
A bit of the connection in here, just like that. And there we go. There's an ear.
I think mine looks really terrible. Let me look at that again. Yeah, I think mine is like... No, it does. You know what? I don't think it looks terrible. I think it's just that's just the size of this guy's head. Yeah, we'll look at it like that. That's sometimes you draw shit, sometimes you don't. Yeah, as Gattuso would say, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. The purpose of studies is to like figure out these issues that you have and just like solve them. So, you know, I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Basically from a rear 3/4. All right, so for the next ear, we're going to be looking almost directly down on it. And so here's my head. This is the top of my head here. I'm going to draw my...
Hello, Bambi. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. What's up?
Face here, so this is my brow line. My nose will be here. It's all very foreshortened because we're looking at the top of the head. This will be my center line. As always, I reserve the right to fix any of this if I put it down and it's not right away. That's the reason why we draw this loosely and lightly.
Yo, look at that angle. Like he's really drawing some complex angles. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Bambi. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. How did he draw this head again? Let me look at his technique.
Ear, we're going to be looking almost directly down on it. And so here's my head. This is the top of my head here. I'm going to draw my face here. So this is my brow line. My nose will be here. It's all very foreshortened because we're looking at the top of the head. This will be my center line. As always, I reserve the right to fix any of this if I put it down and it's not right away.
This is one of the reasons why I usually talk about like doing skull studies and doing studies about the head and the entire body in general, because whenever you like encounter angles like this, it can really test your knowledge of like the human skull, not just like your understanding in terms of like anatomy, but your understanding in terms of like foreshortening. And yeah, I struggle with it a lot as well. And that is why doing practices like this are very important. You just sit down and you just try and learn from, at least someone that has, done a little bit better than you, or someone that knows a little bit better than you. And not just that, you also try and learn from, like I said, because I did this a video like this yesterday. You try and learn from different materials whenever you're studying. You don't just look at this material, like let's say this is the video on how to draw the ear. You don't just look at this material, you also try and look at like actual books and stuff like that, and you will get better. So as you can see, like the study is not perfect, right? It's not perfect, and that's why it's a study. It's to figure out the areas that you are not good at. Like a study is not a masterpiece. Yeah, it's meant to be rough. There's meant to be mistakes. There's meant to be risk. There's meant to be trial and error. So you don't just stay in your comfort zone whenever you're doing a study. You challenge yourself, and that's why angles like this are very important, and studies like this are very essential and crucial to your growth as an artist.
Reason why
In any field in general, in any area.
we draw this loosely and lightly. Brown line.
So
All right.
all right.
So I'm just going to quickly draw a face in here, just so we have some kind of point of reference. And it's always good practice to just do this as often as you can anyway.
That is really good. Look how he just got that.
So there we go. There's my head looking down on it. My ear is going to be basically here. So let's go ahead and lighten that down. I'm now not going to see this part.
Let me capture the face. I think he sped that up. Let me capture the face. Usually, if you're having trouble drawing angles like this, like I usually say for the nose, for instance, if you see what he did here, he got like the center line, which is very important. He got the center line, and then the next thing he did was that like he sort of like put like a shape. The nose protrudes, like there's the center line, and the nose will start here. The nose is sort of like between the eyebrows, right? So it starts from here and ends around here, right? Let's say this is the center. So he draws a line like this, and then you could, that's why you could use like a simple shape, sort of like a cone, something thereabout, and then you draw the nose like this. And once you have something like this, it's going to be very easy for you to like place the nose. As you can see, we have sort of like a kite shape, or sort of like a pyramid shape. So that's one way you could attack the nose, and you can do that for like if the angle is different. Let's say if it's facing upwards. So that is just one way to approach drawing the nose. So it's just like the proportions are still the same, but because of the angles, things are going to be foreshortened and like stretched out a bit. All right, so that's just one thing I just wanted to talk about in regards to drawing the head. And most times I do actually struggle with these angles, but like these simple techniques like this usually help me whenever like I'm placing the face. So yeah, very important. Sorry, let me just capture this face like real quick. We have our hairline, and then the mouth usually is from the center over here like this, and that is why understanding the proportions of the face is very important. So we now have like our line that's going to lead us directly to draw the ears, which is these two guys over here.
And I'm going to see the top wide because I'm looking at the top of the ear. Also, before I draw the ear, I need to make sure to round my forms all the way around. So I know my ear is going to go basically here. And so let's start with the top of the ear like this. You can see quite a bit more of it. And then it's going to come down. For shortened, I'm going to draw the interior bit. Overlap this way because this one's in front. And there we go. It's very, very simple. And to make sure that I've got my ear placed correctly, if I really want to, I feel like it looks pretty good, but I can just go ahead and draw my hairline in there, and it fits pretty well. Mostly. I don't know if it's perfect. And you know what? I'm looking at this. It's really not perfect. When I drew my hairline in, I'm actually kind of a little further back than I really wanted to be. And so we're going to erase that entire ear. We're going to fix it. And as to show you that too, because I'm perfect. It's so nice to have these
Sorry,
kinds of
I had to check
visual
something else.
cues
I had to check something else.
to be able to sort those kinds of things out when they happen. It can be very difficult to be self-critical of your own work and to see your own mistakes. And so having these kinds of things gives you something quickly to reference by. And if it is right, then you know you've done it right. We're going to do two more. I'm going to draw the ear from behind, from a bit further of an angle. And this, to me, is the angle of the ear that kind of presents the most problems. I find I struggle with this one a little bit more because I end up with a conflict with this interior bit and how to represent it.
I think we did
So
all
I'm going
right.
to draw the
It's
back
not
of the
perfect,
ear
but I think we
more
did all
flattened
right.
out. It's going to be more foreshortened. Here we go.
All right,
and
let's
now
see.
I am actually going to draw this all the way through because you really won't see much of the interior of the ear. I can see the connection of my ear here. This lobe, very flattened, because you're looking more directly, very flattened. And then the interior of my ear is going to go here. And so there you go. And you can see I'm fighting with it a little bit. This connections is what really gives me trouble. Because it does overlap, I want to make sure that I've got it represented well. It's just a bit more of an angle, but it does tend to give me a little bit of trouble. Ultimately, the angles we've covered here aren't every possible conceivable angle of an ear, but they really cover enough ground that you should be able to draw an ear from really any angle you need. And now we're going to go ahead and go into lighting. So I'm going to draw an ear from the front, remembering all my basic shapes, and they never change, which I'm going to draw an ear from the front, remembering all my basic shapes, and they never change, which makes ears such an easy thing to draw. And they have a lot more flexibility than a nose, for instance, which also never changes, but is more difficult to draw because the slightest deviation on a nose can really alter the look of a face. And it's really not so true for ears. There's my ear drawn a little more tightly.
All right, so pause it and added detail. Let me just detail that a bit. As simple as it looks to draw, like whenever you look at different angles of the ear, most of the times they can actually give you like issues. And he's right about like the nose in different angles, because if your nose is like really skewed, like if you were to draw like a head like this, and you were to not put the nose like in like the right position, it's going to look very off. Like if somebody were to like draw a nose like this, whilst the head is in this position, unless like it's intentional, like the art style is intentionally being funny, or like it's an animation and it's like intentionally being funny, like something like Rick and Morty, for instance, where they usually draw the nose like this. Unless like they're intentionally being funny, like drawing the nose is not like actually accurate to draw it like this, because the nose is facing like this. You sort of like need to like understand like sort of like what is going on in the face, and usually you're going to see a lot more of something a bit more like this with the nose. So that's generally what he's talking about, and that's the same thing when you look at the ear. The ear.
A little larger so we can go ahead and light it. This is incredibly easy. It doesn't get too much more easy than lighting an ear. Basically, no matter what angle, we're going to choose this angle here. But what angle of light we choose, we're going to have a shadow pulled up in here. We're also going to have a shadow in here. This is where your ear hole is. As a matter of fact, really, I think I can just go dark. I'm going to give it a little bit of a hook here. That kind of places this lobe onto the side of the head. I'm going to do some line weight here. I'm going to draw a shadow in here. I don't want to go all the way to the edge because I want to give that a little bit of a rim. I've got a shadow in here, and now I have a couple little tricks that I like to do. Because I want this to curve over, I'm just going to hook a little shadow in there, and it gives it just a little bit more depth. And then also, I need to cast a shadow over this part here. And that's really all there is to it. It's not a complex thing to light. Ears are very, very simple to light. I find even lighting ears from below ends up being fairly simple. Let's go ahead and draw an ear from the side and do the same thing. We'll light it from a bit of a different angle, I guess. And lighting ears from below ends up being fairly simple. Let's go ahead and draw an ear from the side and do the same thing. We'll light it from a bit of a different angle, I guess. So
I think I missed something.
lighting ears from below ends up being
You added
fairly
line
simple.
weight over here.
Let's go ahead and draw an ear from the side and do the same thing. We'll light it from a bit of a different angle, I guess. So I'm just sketching in the basic form of my ear to start. Got this part here, this part here. The interior part is going to connect just in like this. And there it is. Very, very simple form. So let's lighten that down and tighten it up.
Who knows, drawing ears can be this intense. Yeah. That's why it's called a study. It can't be intense. Like anything, like if you study it long enough and hard enough, it actually can be very intense. Yeah, and then you begin to see like the weaknesses in your game in terms of like how you draw things.
So this time we're going to light the...
All right, let me see. Let me catch up to what he drew over here. But fortunately, the thing about things like that is like the more you do them, the better you get at actually drawing them. And this is how I've been studying like to actually improve myself.
Here from this side, it really makes very little difference ultimately. This is still just going to be dark, this whole area in here. So let's just start with that. I still want to hook this part just a little bit because I feel like it connects to the head a little bit better. This is all going to be dark in here. This will be dark in here. I'm going to hook.
I still have a long way to go. I'm only good at drawing anime. Yeah. The thing I've noticed about like even like drawing anime is that usually the people who draw anime in terms of like the actual pros, what they are just doing is like that's just an art style, and that's sort of like an oversimplification of like realism, right? That's an art style, an oversimplification, and like a lot of those like actual like top anime artists, they're actually very good at like drawing realistically.
This over
If you
this.
think about it.
Let's see.
So that's just sort of like how it works. So ideally, you sort of like have to understand realism, or at least how things work realistically, so that you can be able to manipulate it, and that's how you can actually find your art style. One of the ways, at least, that I can find your art style, because it's just all about reductions. Yeah, yeah, I get what you mean. Anime body, precisely. Yeah. So you just practice. You just find your weak points and just practice, and you get good. It will take time, but you get good. Let me just add a bit of line weight over here. You kind of have to understand the rules to be able to bend them and break it, and actually break it. Thanks for the idea. It will be useful to me someday. Yeah, hopefully, man. Hopefully. Yeah, that's the point of, well, that's the point. One of the points of the channel, rather. Um, I think he time lapsed this, so I'm having to sort of. I think it's about to rain over here. By the way, are you only drawing ears today? Yes, I'm only drawing ears now. I'm just doing the study. It's a 20 minute video, but I think it actually is going to take more than that in terms of like time, uh, because he did fast forward a lot of like a large part of the video. Yesterday I did a study of like body types in like around this time of the day. I did a study on body types. Yeah, I'm just doing like these videos like so that I can just add like 1%. I usually do this in private, but like I have a YouTube channel, so I just decided to share my process of how I actually study, because usually the way I like I sort of like document my growth process. So like if I watch a video like this, what I would then do usually is that I'll like take notes from these videos, and then like based on my understanding, what I've understood from these videos, I'll then make my own YouTube video on that. And what that does for me is that it retains it in my head, it keeps it in my head. And like if during the process of making the video I don't understand anything, I have to then go and restudy or repractice what I didn't know. And that just makes me a whole better artist, because I'm trying to like teach or like explain what I've just learned to someone. Um, and it works for me. And I'll advocate for that for everybody. Like if you're learning something, try to learn in a way that you might teach, and you discover how much retention you have um, with what you're studying. Hello Tamp, how you doing? I would have drawn with you, but I'm still focusing on anatomy, basically the human body. But I'll draw with you in future video. Yes, cool, man. It's cool. Anytime, anytime. I'm always available. Yeah, anytime. Uh, well, technically, the ear is part of the human body, like anatomy. I think maybe you're talking about the torso and like the limbs.
Since I'm lighting it would make sense that it would cast a bit of a shadow onto the face. And I have to admit, I find it very strange to draw the shadow from an ear kind of onto nothing, and it throws me a little bit. But I think in my entire career, I've never drawn an isolated ear and shadowed it. All right, at the risk of beating a dead horse, we're just going to go ahead and do this again, very, very quickly. So I've got my overall rounded shape. I don't want to go completely curved. I want to keep my shapes just a little bit more interesting. The interior lobe, the top of the bottom lobe here, and the interior bit. And there you go. There's another ear, and it's super fast and super easy. It does not have to be more complex than that. This is really all you need. And you want to be able to get to the point where you can just do this very, very quickly and easily, because you really don't want to be spending a lot of time in your drawing thinking about ears. But you also want your ears to stand up.
Yeah, right. Everything do except for hands and feet. Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, hands are really difficult. They are probably the most complex part of the human body to draw. Like it takes a lot of time. Like there's just so much fluidity. like when you look at hands, like drawing hands, there's so much fluidity, and like it's just so difficult. It's so difficult. That's why I use references all the
That is
time.
something that is a real weakness in your drawing. There's really no reason for it. There's such an easy thing to get started with. This has been a bit of a quicker video because ears are relatively simple. They're not something that people focus on a lot. And I think the idea of drawing ears that are successful on your figures is to have a really good shorthand to do them as quickly and easily and effectively as possible. I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you
Yeah,
so much
this
for
video has
watching.
been
Be sure
helpful.
to
This video has been really helpful. Yeah, just something quick, something I could just quick refresher rather. Yeah, line width very important. Like when you're adding shadows, um, and even like when you've added the shadows, you can always like still go in and just you know make it a bit more three-dimensional. Nah, you curve it like this. That's a bit more. Yeah, think I'm not missing anything. Probably just this stuff here.
like and subscribe and whatever it is that YouTube has now that you should, I have no idea, I've lost track. But do all those things and I will see you in the next video.
Yeah, that was a good video, guys. Yeah, like I think this was fun. Yeah, this was fun. This was a fun tutorial. I had fun with this. Just some quick drawings here and there, something to like sharpen the mind. You could just exercise, like just improve by, even though it's 0.000001%. Yeah, like just little exercises here and there, and these are the things that I try to do as often as possible to just keep my ability sharp, and just like highlight things that I'm not really good at, that I need to work on or spend more time on. And yeah, that's just essentially what the video is about. I wish you success. We'll meet in the future. Don't give up, bro. I always support a small creator. Hoping to see more drawing videos in the future, but don't expect to see me if it's about hands and face. Yeah, anything but hands and face. Yeah, yeah, no problem, man. No problem. I got you on that. I really appreciate the support, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. And we're wishing you success too in your drawings. Yeah. All right, guys. So I think that would be. Let me just play a time lapse of the studies I've done so far. So yesterday we did a study about like the body. Yeah. Yesterday we did peace as well, bro. Peace. We did a quick study about like the body types, where we just like broke down the different body types. This was like a muscular body, and then we did a study about like a really bulky character, like similar to Hulk. And then we did a body about like a skinny character, and then we did one for like a really plump looking character. And then this is today's studies that we did, and yeah, just some quick ES studies and drawings, and yeah, it was fun, quick, simple, 1 hour study. Yeah, just 53 minutes now. Yeah, so tomorrow, hopefully, I'll look at another. He doesn't have a lot of tutorial videos. Like, he has a decent amount of videos, but like not a lot of tutorial videos. But like we've done like draw any body type. We've done how to draw ears. So tomorrow I'll look at studying Bridgman for figure drawing. I'll look at what the video is about and sort of like try and like do the drawings that he does. I just think this kind of videos or live videos are fun. I'm enjoying myself whilst I'm doing it. I'm learning, and I'm also interacting with people. So like there's a lot of videos, but we can get through them together. And yeah, I could even make like a short video and just explain like sort of what I studied. Yeah, not a lot of tutorial videos, but I'll try and watch all of them. And if there are other channels that they can be tutorials that I can watch and learn, we'll probably do that. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.